Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now, in today's episode, good morning and happy Memorial Day weekend. It's currently Memorial Day weekend. This is a time where us Americans pause and remember all those men and women who bravely gave their lives so that our country can be free. So, this is an opportunity for us to get together and to celebrate that. But, we can also celebrate by having a lot of fun, and that's what we're going to do today. So for today's workout, I'm going to be doing the bench press. I'm also going to be doing this contraption right here. It's called the Yukon yoke walk. It's a Yukon bar that's curved, a little bit easier on the shoulders, but has the same hand mechanics as a regular yoke if you were to use it in a strongman case. Got some straps and some weights at the end, which is really going to make it sway to and from as I'm walking with it, which is really going to work my core a whole lot more than a standard yoke. So let's pop into today's workout. Let's see what we got going on. Now for today's strength giant set, I'm going to be doing the bench press like I just said. And the idea is to work up to a 3-rep max and hopefully maybe even more. Now as I'm going up in weight on the bench press, I'm also going to be doing the Yukon yoke walk in between. And I did a squat day literally yesterday. So the video you saw last time, that's what I did literally yesterday. So I am tired, my legs are tired, but my core is definitely going to have to take a beating. And jump ropes, because jump ropes I feel like are a great conditioning tool and it warms everything up for the bench press. And that's going to be the strength giant set for the day. And you can see that I'm wearing my red, white, and blue attire for Memorial Day weekend. And that's because I think there's nothing more American than baseball. So today is going to be a rep day, meaning I'm going to try to do as much volume as I can in both the strength and variation giant set when it comes to the bench press and its variation, its cousin, the incline bench press. You can see that I kind of started off on my deload week and then I started training with chains. So today is trying to see just how much I can max out with 315. And I would be really happy if I hit 3 today. If I hit anything more than 3, it just means that I'm ahead of schedule. But you have to remember, a lot of people want to go to the gym every single day and try to tucker their body out every single time they go because they feel like that's what they have to do in order to get a good workout. And that's not necessarily true. Sometimes you can actually go backwards. Now, if you're a beginner or if you're a endurance athlete, meaning you're training for like marathons or triathlons or training to swim the English Channel or something crazy like that. I actually know people who've done that. Then maybe going to the gym every day and trying to do long, excessive hours of work is appropriate. However, if you want to build strength and you want to improve your athleticism, you're going to have to remember to take some rest days. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do nothing all day for a couple days. You could do other things, like you could do Pilates, you could go for a bike ride, you could do very light movements, or you could do some mobility work with a band. The problem is that stuff's all boring to a lot of people, so nobody wants to do it. But if you don't do it, mobility and all those other things I just mentioned really play into a factor for strength training. And even when you're strength training, you can't just go for max weight every single time you go to the gym. You're going to have to dial it back, make sure you're set, make sure your muscles have recovered, and that you're giving your body time to adapt to the weight with appropriate rep schemes. This is always the problem I have with clients is they always want to lift heavy every single time they go to the gym, and they want to tucker their body out with some type of anaerobic cardio or metcon like a CrossFit workout in order to feel like they did a good job in the gym. But then they're stuck on the same strength numbers for years. And if you want to get past that, then you're going to have to dial it back some days, learn how to rest, learn how to do active recovery, mobility, and know when to push it. And today is a push it day. And I'm super excited because that's what makes this whole thing all worth it. All right, so not too shabby. 315 for 4 reps, which is a record I believe I've tied. I've only done that once in my whole entire life. So pretty nice to feel that out and realize that it went pretty well, other than the fact that I was really shaky and wobbly. That's because I did leg day yesterday, as I told you before, and I think that makes it a little bit harder for me to stabilize. So now let's continue on with the workout because this is turning out to be a great day. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 3 rounds. And because I was so successful on the flat bench press, I knew that I was going to be able to push it on its cousin, the incline bench press, where I just raise that bench 1 click up. That's all you really need to do. And it's going to throw all the weight forward onto your chest. It's going to change the movement dramatically. And I was going for today for a PR. I believe this is a PR. 6 reps on the incline bench press. Last time I did 300 for 2 reps. Probably could have squeaked out a third, but took a break because that was just a PR from hitting 300 pounds all by itself. So 275 for 6 reps, definitely good. I was so happy, and this day was just getting better and better. I couldn't be happier with my progress. And again, this was the day to push it, and it was pushing very well. And as I was going up in weight on the incline bench, I was continuing to do Yukon yoke walks, but I upped the weight a little bit. I don't know if I caught the footage or not. We'll find out, but I upped it to 250 pounds and continued on with the jump ropes. And then after the variation giant set, I stopped doing jump ropes. Wow, Memorial Day is really inspiring me, helping me lift all this heavy weight. This is the best I've ever done for repetitions. 4 on the flat bench for 315, and then 6 reps at the incline bench, which throws all the weight to the front of your chest, which is a great exercise for upper chest movement if you want to get bigger in the chest and also get better at the flat bench press. Well, let's see what else I can do since this is going very well so far. Now for the assistance giant set, I was doing 4 rounds. I believe it was 4 rounds. Now I'm just uploading the weight on the Yukon walk and trying to go for a max effort. But again, my legs were very tired from the squat. So I didn't really quite know how far I could push it. I definitely wanted to hit 500 pounds for at least 15 meters, which is just one pass on the bullpen back there. It's 15 meters across, about 50 feet total. But what ended up happening is when I did get to the 500 pounds, it actually moved very fast and very efficiently. So then I knew, hey, I could push a little bit. But instead of going up in weight, I just carried it for one more round, which is great because today was all about doing multiple rounds with heavy weight. So even with the Yukon yoke walk, I was able to do more weight and to do 500 pounds for 2 rounds, which is great considering how tired my legs were. Really woke everything up, definitely. And my core was shaking and a burning from all those weights moving around from those straps. And lastly, for the accessory giant set, I was doing 3 rounds yet again. You notice pattern here. This time I'm doing some horizontal tricep extensions, and I'm doing it with that braid band because that's the most amount of resistance I have. That braid band is a lot of tension. So I'm really trying to hit the triceps now since they helped me out and bailed me out from doing that 315 for reps. Then I'm doing something a little bit different, but kind of sticking in the same plane as I've been doing lately on most of my videos. I'm doing a static hold with the pec fly with that braid band. Again, just the idea to make sure that I'm targeting that chest, but I'm doing a static hold in order to burn all the stabilizers out. And then I don't really know, again, what these are called. I call them chest ups, but I was doing a lot of reps of these, mainly because I feel my chest burning when I do a lot of reps with that band. And of course, face pulls, because you always need to do some type of face pull variation after every squat, deadlift, or any type of pressing day. And face pulls are my favorite to do on that time. That was the total strength giant set for the day. Alrighty, so that's going to conclude it for today's Memorial Day weekend. Really appreciate everybody stopping by, and I hope that y'all learned something new, that you enjoyed working out with me and celebrating with me on this Memorial Day. I'll see you later. Thank you.